Welcome, everyone. Today is May 18th, 2026, Monday, for our 3 p.m. land use hearing. I call this meeting to order. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for joining us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm Larimer County. Good afternoon again and welcome. I am Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shaddy McNally, the Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and I welcome you to this meeting. But with me at the dais is my colleagues, Commissioner Kristen Stevens and Commissioner John Kafalis. Also joining behind us is our clerk to the board this afternoon. Thank you, Lindsay Tracy, for being here, and thank you for the diligence that you have. We have our county attorney's office here across from us at the other dais, and that is Frank Howe. Thank you, Frank. And we have some more introductions, but I'm going to turn this over to our planning manager, Jenny Axmaker, for more introductions and to share some of our hearing procedure instructions and information. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Joining me at the dais, we have David Pringle from our engineering department. We have Samantha Lasher, county planner. We have Ryan Oswendell from our planning admin staff. And across the way, we have senior planner Samantha Mott and Ashton Brodall from our health department. With that, we respectfully request all members of the audience to silence their electronic devices. Please help yourself to a copy of the agenda and hearing procedures, which are located right next to the door in a wooden rack, or if you're joining us online, you can find those on our website at larimer.gov/BOCC/commissioners-meetings. Please wait to speak until recognized by the chair. Please maintain civility, refraining from audience applause, comments, or disruptions, whether positive or negative. Please make all comments to the Board of County Commissioners from the podium. A portable microphone is available if needed. Please state your name at the beginning of your comments and provide the spelling of your name if it's unique. Please speak directly into the microphone so that remote participants may hear your testimony. The microphone on the podium can be repositioned to best capture your testimony. Upon request, assisted listening devices are available for the hearing impaired. For those on Zoom, you will be muted until you're recognized by the chair. If an online attendee wishes to speak or request a consent item to be removed from the agenda, please use the raise your hand function on the Zoom control bar or *9 on your phone. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. And we'll now move on to some additional information about our agenda today. We have a consent agenda and also a hearing discussion items. Right now, I'm going to just discuss the public hearing consent items, which has one item, and that would be the Stark Fifth Appeal, file number 26-GNRL 0588. Typically, items on the consent agenda are considered routine in nature, and as far as we know, there is no perceived or significant controversy, and items on the consent agenda will not have a staff presentation. The applicant will not get to speak, and there will not be an opportunity for public comment unless the item is pulled from the consent agenda. Commissioners are able to pull an item from the consent agenda as well as the public. If that occurs, there will be a presentation, public comment, and all the rest. The items on this agenda, as I listed before, which is the Stark Fifth Appeal, file number 26-GNRL 0588. I will ask now my colleagues, do either of you wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay. Can we now, I'll ask the room, does anyone in the room wish to pull this item off the consent agenda? Okay, may we check online, please, Ryan?
We have no members of the public online.
All right, so I will now ask Commissioner Kafalis to please make that motion to approve that consent agenda, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the consent agenda subject to the one condition of approval as set out in the staff report, and authorize the chair to sign the findings and resolution for this item.
Thank you for that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 3-0. If your item is on that agenda and now has been approved, you're welcome to leave. Unless you'd like to hang out for the rest of the hearing, you're welcome to stay as well. So now we're going to move on to our discussion item, and there will be a staff presentation and opportunity for the applicant to make their case, which is 10 minutes, and there'll also be an opportunity for public comment. And so after that, we'll have the applicant and staff make a rebuttal to any public comment, and we may ask questions of the applicant and staff, and then we'll go into our deliberations and do our best to make informed decisions. So with that, we have the first item with our first and only item on our public hearing discussion is the MSHAN LLC short-term rental special review, file number 25-ZONE 3824. And now I will ask, is it Samantha Lasher who will be doing this presentation? Thank you, Samantha. Please proceed.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, my name is Samantha Lasher, and I'll be presenting the MSHAN LLC short-term rental special review, file number 25 zone 3824. The subject property is located at 2566 West Highway 34 in Drake, as seen on the map, which is approximately 1.3 miles northeast of Lake Estes. The property is Lot 8A of the Orton-Sullivan subdivision. This property used to contain 3 adjacent lots, but was recently received approval through our lot consolidation process to combine the 3 lots into 1. The property is currently zoned O open and is just less than 0.5 acres in size. The property is served by an on-site well and on-site septic system, is also served by the Estes Valley Fire Protection District, and has direct access off of Highway 34, which is a state highway. The property owner and applicant is Ming Shan, and he's here with us today in person. The proposed property manager for the short-term rental is Mark Matson with Evolve Vacation Rentals. They are located in Estes Park, which is approximately 10 minutes from the proposed short-term rental, and Mark is here with us in person as well. The request before you all today is a special review public hearing phase approval for a 1-bedroom plus 1 additional sleeping area for a maximum of 4 guests, short-term rental in an existing single-unit residence. A short-term rental is defined as a principal dwelling rented to transient guests who are part of one party for short-term lodging, which is defined as 30 days or less when the owner or operator is not on site. The maximum number of guests allowed for a short-term rental is 10 guests. And a short-term rental use is classified as a commercial lodging facilities use, and as seen on the table, it is permitted in the O Open Zone District following special review approval. For this application in particular, the special review process generally had about 4 steps. So step 1 was a pre-application conference with staff and the applicant, and then a formal application submittal for this public hearing phase. Sometimes our special review process involves a sketch plan phase, but in the case of this application, it was skipped. Step 2 involves staff and referral agency evaluation, as well as community member comment review. At the time of this step, there were no community member comments that had been received, so no neighborhood meeting was required. Step 3 involved Planning Commission review and a recommendation, and now we are on the 4th step, which is a Board of County Commissioner review and decision. This item was on the consent agenda for the April 15th, 2026 Planning Commission public hearing. The Planning Commission did vote to recommend approval of this application, and the motion passed with a vote of 6-0. This application was noticed to 49 surrounding property owners within 1,000 feet. To date, 1 comment in opposition has been received, which is included in Attachment C. This application was also referred to various referral agencies for their comments, as noted on the screen. For those agencies who commented, either they had no concerns or their concerns have been addressed. There were 2 agencies that we did notify, but they did not provide comments. And I also want to note that the original Attachment 3 that contained the referral agency comments was not complete and was missing information as seen in your packet. So staff provided a corrected document in the memo that was sent earlier today. So to approve a special review application, the county commissioners must consider the following general review criteria found in Article 638D of the Land Use Code and also noted on screen here. In addition, the county commissioners must also consider special review criteria found in Article 642D of the Land Use Code as noted on screen. In addition to this criteria, the county commissioners must consider various short-term rental standards found in Article 335B. The first set of standards are what we call general standards listed on the next two slides. And then we have safety standards for short-term rentals listed on the next two slides, followed by floodplain standards, and then lastly, roadway and access standards. And then there are also Article 4 development standards that staff reviewed. These are applicable to any special review application as listed on the screen. Ultimately, staff found that this application meets all applicable criteria in Articles 638D and 642D, as well as the applicable standards found in Articles 3 and 4. Based on that, staff does recommend approval of this application, subject to the following conditions on the next two screens. I would like to note that staff is proposing to remove condition of approval number 12 as listed in the Planning Commission staff report, and that is because this standard is no longer a requirement in the Land Use Code. So with that, I do have a suggested motion for the county commissioners to consider, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha, for that presentation. And I'll first see colleagues, do you have any questions? I have questions. First off, the condition of approval number 13, can you bring that back up again?
Of course, 1 second.
You went through it quickly and I thought I saw something, yeah.
I'm happy to remove the crossed out if it's easier to read.
No, that's fine. So hold that there. So my question is, you put them out to 49. Well, I have 3 or 4 questions, so I'll start with this one. 100-foot radius, so that would be, does that include across the way and across the river, or just, because I know behind them is kind of open space, would that be the radius from the middle of the house or just the center of the property line? I'm curious about what that would be.
Of course, it's 1,000 feet from the property boundary itself, so it would go, I believe, across the river.
Okay, thank you. My other question is, when we talk about the 500-foot, can you just clarify for me and the public, is it 500 feet distance between the property line to the other home, or from, I'm always wondering, how did we land on that?
Just to make sure I understand your question, are you referring to the 500-foot separation standard? Yes, it's from center of residence to center of residence, okay, is how we measure that.
Okay, so that was something that I think never quite got addressed when I was talking about that. Okay, and then the next question I have is, you talked about the trailhead and the open space that's publicly accessible for the U.S. Forest Service. Is that a fee required open trail system, or is it not a fee? Do we know?
Unfortunately, I do not know that. I'm sorry. Okay. We did notify them as part of the neighbor notification and did not hear from them.
The reason for my question is, if it is a fee required space, then I would want that to be, make sure the folks know that are renting that they would need to pay. I don't think it is, but I would like to make sure that if it is a fee required space, kind of like our open spaces are Rocky, that they would need to pay, make sure they understand they need to pay that fee to access that open space. So I just wanted to double check on that. I didn't get a chance to do that today.
No, absolutely. And I will say that is a requirement that the applicant will need to put in their operations manual. So that's something that I can follow up on with the applicant after the hearing.
Great. And speaking of operations manual, my last question for right now is, can you talk to me about bear safe waste bins and receptacles for trash that are bear safe or bear proof or bear resistant?
Yes, absolutely. So I can touch on that a little bit. So one of our safety standards, I can go back to that slide. So it's that first safety standard on this slide, letter S. So essentially, one of the standards for all short-term rentals is that there has to be an adequate plan for garbage storage and removal. So that includes both indoor garbage storage as well as outdoor garbage storage. So there has to be a plan where they clearly illustrate the location of garbage storage areas inside and outside, the method and frequency of garbage pickup, and then the screening of this outdoor storage area. And that also includes ensuring that any outdoor garbage storage area is adequately bear-proofed. And so the applicant will be required to follow that regulation, otherwise they are in violation of the short-term rental standards. I can certainly let the applicant speak to what his plans are for that.
I just happened to be in that area yesterday, and I just made noise. I drove by, and then I Googled it, and I didn't see adequate storage, bear-proof storage, so I'm just curious. So, okay. So unless my colleagues have other questions, Commissioner Koufalis?
Yes, thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Samantha. Could you speak to the one of the referral agencies was code compliance, and they identified there was not a proper building permit was secured for a conversion, and how that will be addressed. And I think there was another matter regarding the site plan and needing to show each floor or whatever. Could you speak to that, ma'am?
Yes, I can, absolutely. Yes, so I believe, so the Code Compliance Division did indicate that a permit was needed to first and foremost convert the cabin, which is how it was originally built, to a single-unit residence, and then there were additional interior modifications and other things that were done without a permit. So the applicant did work with the building division to get that resolved. He did apply for a conversion to dwelling unit permit, and that it also included those interior modifications. He did receive approval for that building permit back in April, so that's been resolved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there a second part of your question? I want to make sure.
Well, I think you've addressed it. There was item number 4 in the memo from the Code Compliance Division, something about the drawings.
Oh, yes.
Show each floor in its own sheet.
Yes. That has also been resolved. So the applicant has worked with the building division to provide updated floor plans and egress maps, and both of those documents have been approved by the building division.
Wonderful. Thanks kindly.
Thank you, Commissioner. Those were some of the questions I had after the applicant presented. So thank you for asking those now. I think that's all I have for right now. So we'll go ahead and invite the applicant up to do a presentation. You'll have 10 minutes, and welcome. So come on up to the podium and introduce yourself.
Do I need to stand over there?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. This is my first hearing ever in my life, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I try to be as clear as I can. So, dear Larimer County Commissioner and staff members, very nice to see you guys. So, my name is Ming Shan. I'm a Colorado resident, a longtime Colorado resident, living in Louisville, Boulder County. So, my home to this place is about 1 hour drive. So it's I bought this property in August 2025 for the intention of make it a short-term rental. Like every Colorado resident, I love our nature and the mountains, especially the Estes area. So I bought this property for my personal use and for short-term rental purpose as well, because I'm not gonna stay there for the whole year. So I think it's best to share the property with the public too. So this property, like Sam mentioned, it's very close to the Rocky Mountain National Park and Estes. It's I personally drive about 3 minutes away from my property to Estes Park, and this property has a septic system with leach field. So it also has its own well, and also has the propane, use of propane to power the house. The only thing that relies on public is Estes electricity. So this property will add very little pressure to the public system. And the trash, the commissioner mentioned about trash. We have a bear-proof trash can. We bought it, and we're going to put it on the property. And the trash will be picked up by my property manager, Mark. He's here today. So every guest stay, the trash will be picked up by our property manager. So there is no public trash service need to be used. Yeah, this property is about 0.44 acres, so it's big enough with a large backyard, and with a relatively distant away from the two neighbors on the north and on the south, and to make the neighbor to prevent any disturbance to the neighbor, I installed the fence, 6-foot fence around the entire properties. So now the guest and the neighbor, they couldn't to prevent the trespassing and any noise. So this property has also been inspected, rigorously inspected by Larimer County. I don't remember how many times I went there for the inspection. So every inspection, including the fire prevention, electricity, life safety inspection, all those inspection has been passed. And all the requirement, just as Sam mentioned, has been met with short-term rental. And the last thing is the concern about short-term rental. I understand that short-term rental could be a little bit controversial because in the past there's so many short-term rental. But I would say this: short-term rental has to be managed by a responsible owner and a party to prevent any disturbance. Short-term rental is needed, especially for a place like Estes Park, because last year alone, there are 4.17 million people come to Rocky Mountain National Park, and a lot of them need to stay in that area. So I think it's good for state of Colorado and for Larimer County. So to make it as responsible as I can, I'm using the Evolve Vacation Rental. Evolve Vacation Rental is considered as one of the best listing rental company in the nation. And also I have Mark as my property manager. Mark is very experienced. I don't know how many years, maybe 20 years? 15 years managing the short-term rental property, especially in Estes Park area. And Mark's review on Google is through the roof. So he is a very good property manager. And Mark is also 24/7, right, Mark? So if there's anything, we can address it immediately. And also, we are going to, like Larimer County required, we are going to mail to all our neighbors Mark's contact information in case anything happen. So Mark will be addressing it. And also, the fence, so I already mentioned it. And also in our guest manual, the operation manual, we mentioned about the quiet hours. So quiet hours will be from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and it's going to be strictly enforced, the quiet hours. Last things I will say, as a property owner, I will be diligently follow the Larimer County's regulation requirements. I understand this is evolving things. So in the future, it's probably more requirement, more update. I will follow it, and I will comply with all the requirements, and any inspection, any check, and personally be responsible for it. So ultimately, I will be a responsible owner for my property, and make sure it's under all the regulation and the requirement of Larimer County. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. And not, are you finished? So you have 3 more minutes. Just want to make sure you have used your time. So are you done?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'll have you stay there. I'll see if we have any questions for the applicant, colleagues.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions, Mr. Shan, but I just want to express appreciation. I thought you did a very nice job for your first time in a land use hearing. You did a nice job making your case.
Oh, thank you. I have, yeah, I hope I did a good job. Thanks.
Commissioner Stevens, any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Cool. Thank you for your presentation. I want to go back to the bear safe trash. I know you said it's going to be picked up every day, but they're still 24 hours and some of that's nighttime. You understand the requirements that the trash receptacle outside and inside has to be bear proof or bear resistant, and I don't know if that's currently in place right now. Is that something that you understand it needs to be done to be bear safe for the bears as well as for the safety of bears, so we don't have to have more bears get in trouble and then have to be put down, but also safety for your residents. I know there are a lot of bears in that area, so
Yeah. So can I let Mark answer, because
Sure,
Mark is
sure.
bought that bear proof can for me. Yeah.
Yes, there is a bear proof. There will be a bear proof. They have, it comes with a little clip thing on the top that you just flip open and shut. And I will be responsible for all the trash removal. I will be picking that up after every short-term guest. If they're going to be there for longer than normal, like a week or 2, I'll be picking up the trash when needed. Probably more than once during that specific time.
So that will be, and I might ask Samantha about that. That will be something that you'll be looking at and following up on, and with requirements for that.
Yeah, and that information is required to be within their operations manual, which we will check for.
Great, thank you.
And if we could also,
go ahead.
Pardon my interruption, Madam Chair, can we have Mark state his name for the
Oh,
record,
yes,
please?
I'm sorry, Mark. Could you say your full name and where you're from and what you represent for the record,
Yes,
please? Thank
Mark
you.
Matson, Estes Park, Colorado, and I'm the property manager for the property.
Awesome. And then I did look it up. I don't think there's a fee associated with the Mount Olympus Trail that's up there that people could just walk up. So, yeah.
No, Mount Olympus there's no fee.
Yeah, so I just double checked on that. I didn't think there was, but I wanted to make sure. So, okay, I think that's all the questions I have for you right now. Thank you for answering that. The bear safety trash can was a concern of mine when I was doing my homework. So, I think that's all the questions we have. We'll go ahead and I'll have you take a seat, and we'll see if there's any public comment, and maybe you won't need to make a rebuttal, and we'll see if there's any other questions. But thank you, Mr. Shin. Okay, so we'll open up for public comment. I don't think there's any public comment in the room, but I'll just go ahead and state it for the record. Is anybody in the room like to make public comment other than the applicant and his property manager? Okay, Ryan, is there anybody online?
Madam Chair, there's no one online.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment. So you don't need to make any rebuttal for public comment. So I'll see if there's any other questions for staff or to the applicant. Commissioner Kafalis.
Yeah, why not? I don't want to make it too easy for Mr. Shan. I'm wondering, sir, would you mind coming back up again?
Yeah.
You had mentioned that you were hoping that your family could use this house, this short-term rental.
Mm-hmm.
How many months of the year are your intentions for making it available as a short-term rental?
I plan to use a short-term rental for full year.
Full year.
Because I'm only gonna probably spend a couple of days over there each time. I'm not gonna I'm not intend to live there for like a long period of time. Yeah, because I have a work to do. So
Yes. Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks, Madam Chair.
Sure. Commissioner Stevens. All right, we ready to start deliberations? Commissioner Stevens, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I want to thank the applicant for being here and for stating your case. As Commissioner Kafala said, you did a good job. I will be supporting this application. I think that you have met all the requirements. Staff agrees with that. I won't read through all the requirements, but because there's quite a long list of requirements, and I appreciate your saying that you're willing to follow any future requirements that we put in place. I appreciate you being a responsible short-term rental owner, and I don't have any concerns about the application. I think that all the concerns were met, and I appreciate you, sort of keeping up with the, fire danger and as Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, any kind of concern for bears in the area. But you've done a good job with submitting your paperwork and meeting the requirements, and so I will support your application. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with the comments shared by my commissioner colleague, as well as the recommendations of staff. The various applicable review criteria, I believe, have been met, and therefore I too will support this application for a 4-person guest short-term rental.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. I want to thank the applicant and his property manager for coming in. That doesn't happen very often, so I appreciate you being here, sir. I know it's over an hour drive because I do that a lot. Going up there, I was just up there yesterday. I'll be up there about a couple more times this week. And I want to thank you both for being here today. And I agree with Commissioner Stevens. I am grateful you're willing to, adjust as other safety standards come forward. And I appreciate you answering my questions about the bear-proof trash receptacles and stuff. That's really important. We're having a lot of folks who aren't doing that are, need to follow that. So it's really important. And I appreciate having that confirmed that will be taken care of. I think the fencing, providing some privacy and maybe helping with some of the noise when people are in the backyards and following the 7 to 7 is really important. And it seems like you've done a lot of nice work, and it's an historic cabin, 1916, and I'm glad you're going to be bringing that up to code and getting that into compliance. So I appreciate that. I know that's required as well. I do believe now that you've met all of the standards from the Estes Valley Fire Department with what they needed required and some of the other standards. I think you've met all of the review criteria and the special review criteria. And then some of these safety standards were really important to me. And I think that you have done some good work to meet those standards. So with that being said, I don't have all my concerns were addressed through my questions. And so with that, I will also be able to support this application for the short-term rental special review. And so with the following, with all the conditions that are associated, minus number 12, that will be removed from the 13, which will make it back to 12 again. So with that, if there's no other further deliberation, I'll ask Commissioner Stevens to please make that motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I moved that the Board of County Commissioners approve the M. Sean LLC short-term rental special review file number 25, zone 3824, subject to the revised conditions found in the Planning Commission staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Any further deliberation or questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Congratulations. Thank you, staff, for a very good written report, and we wish you all a good afternoon. And at 3:34, we are adjourned. Have a great day.